bulb going off in my head of creating that mailing list.
You're going to have to help me out because I can't hear him.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patty. Can you hear me now? You
A
there?
little louder, please.
A little closer to your face, Joel.
I'm trying. Is that better?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, Corey, it's all you.
So what was the question, Joel?
We'll deal with it later.
But, the idea of having your sponsors' pamphlets there and a sandwich board and getting the email list, I don't know anybody doing that. It's a great idea. It's something I think we're going to see a lot more of at the racetrack now that you've said that in our region.
Well, and it's important because you'll be able to tell. You, racer, will be able to tell if they come down in your pit area. And if they come down in your pit area the first week, they're coming to see you because they're friends of yours. If they come to see you the second week, they're coming down there to congratulate you on how well you did. So you've got to remember that it's opening night. It's the first, week of the season. I mean, there's so many things. And here's the other thing. And guys, I'm telling you, this comes from Bell Helmets, it comes from Weld Wheels, and it comes from Hoosier. Absolutely no beer can in your hand after the race.
Absolutely.
Go put it in a solo cup. Go put it in a mug. Go, whatever you want to do, but no alcohol in your hand. Because who are you addressing? You're addressing wives. You're addressing little kids. And you don't want them to see that beer can in your hand, and they certainly don't want to hear, bleep.
Yeah.
Hey, so and so, bleep.
Yeah.
And you're
Got
playing
to watch what you do because this is the next guy that's going to buy a ticket to come and watch you race. This is the next guy that is going to buy a T-shirt from you. This is the next guy whose dad might sponsor you.
Yep.
Hey, I'm going back to my game. It's 33-29.
Patty, I'll tell you what, we sure appreciate your time. I know we've learned a lot from you. You've got some great ideas. I know a lot of people will be listening to this show over and over to get those ideas into their program.
Okay.
And again, we can't say thank you enough. Good luck with your Jayhawks tonight. And
well, I appreciate that. They'll be coming up tomorrow night. Tonight it's Kansas State. But here's the thing. Let's do this after your third or fourth night of racing, and let's see if anybody out there took heed to what we said.
Well, let's give you a call back and get you on the horn again and see how that went and discuss it then.
I've lost you guys.
Thank you, Patty. Warren says we'll absolutely do that again later in the program or in the season, like you said, about 4 or 5 races in. We'll get you back on the horn and we'll talk about it. And
guys, have a good, safe season, and God bless everybody.
Thank you, Patty. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
What an awesome lady. I mean, you talk about a resume. She's been there. She's seen it all there is to see. And hopefully what she said, here's what I got.
I hope my team gets something out of this. A lot of what she said was total common sense.
Well,
I mean,
that's
something
what I was going to go with.
A person should know, but now you've heard it, and you've heard it from somebody successful in marketing, and now it's adhering,
But here's the thing, too. What she said was, and we've all seen everybody do this, guys, in the sport, whether it's from dirt tracking up to where you're at, Warren. People try to make it too big.
Yeah, or too difficult. Yeah.
Too difficult. They become their own worst enemy by trying to do too much. And when you do that, you kind of make yourself look like you don't know what you're doing.
It goes right along with the metaphor of slow down to go fast.
You're absolutely right. And everything she said was just so simple.
Yeah.
Fast is slow and smooth is fast.
Yeah. Right.
And that
the sandwich board thing. I had never even thought. I've never seen anybody do that. Having a sandwich board full of pamphlets talking about, hey, this is who our sponsors are. Interested? Hey, we're going to give away something. Put your name on there with your email.
I think it's mostly the
Great
McAnally
idea.
crews. McAnally does that in his pits.
Well, and you got to think about that. The direct marketing that you're doing by capturing that information, the email address, the phone number, that stuff, and then you direct market your team to your fans. You're not just marketing your team. You're marketing the speedway. You're marketing the racetrack. You're marketing the industry.
Right.
And here's the thing, is how many drivers out there, and I know there's a bunch, have not would benefit their fans. Well, hang on. How do I want to word this? Think about your fans. Okay, you have those diehard fans that just absolutely love Joey Tanner. That just absolutely love Colin Weinbarger. They're in their Superman shirts, their 111 shirts at Willamette Speedway every weekend, watching those guys race.
They must not know him.
Easy.
I'm just kidding, fellas.
Easy asphalt. But you know what I'm saying? How many of those fans, besides going up to them after the races and shaking their hand, and then you not seeing them at the racetrack, how many of those fans would come back to the racetrack if that driver picked up that phone and said, "Hey, man, haven't seen you at the racetrack in a while. Just want to make sure everything's okay and see if you're coming out to watch us win."
Yeah, that was a great point.
I mean, you are direct marketing your team and the Speedway to the fans.
Right, and that's just as important as because what happens when you have fans, the right fan will lead to a sponsorship. Am I right, Dom?
That's right.
We've seen that happen before. The other thing she said that I thought was really interesting.
Well, hang on. Before you get get off this topic, and we've been searching for that. We've talked about it as a group, on air and off air, fans in the stands just declining. This is not just about your team. This is also a way to help the sport. Grow that
doing
fan
your
base.
part to keep the fans coming back and bring in new fans.
Well, and then here's the next part about that too. Is she talks about that number, the 5,500 number of potential views per event.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get more fans in the stand, now you're increasing your viewing audience for that sponsor,
and your potential for another sponsor.
And you can go back next year and say, "Hey, last year we were at 5,500 views per event.
Mm-hmm.
Now." This season, we're forecasting to be at 6,500 views per event.
Right.
Oh my gosh! Now you're looking at the marketing, and as somebody that's going to hand out money or a sponsorship, tires, fuel, or excuse me, no tires. Tires are bad. we're talking product. Or,
don't do that.
Yeah, don't touch tires. But you start talking product or a monetary sponsorship. Boom! You just increased 10%.
Right, and on what you're saying right there kind of leads what I was going to say is the point she made, and I thought it was very, very good for everybody to hear, was everybody wants that big sponsor. Everybody wants that big sponsor. Awesome. Go find that $25,000 sponsor, because the point she made of finding 5 sponsors for $5,000 is going to be a lot easier. I know it sounds like a lot more work, but you're gonna have an easier time getting a sponsor for $5,000 versus $25,000.
Exactly, and look at what we do on the West Coast, and I shouldn't say the West Coast, in our regional,
the left coast,
the right coast,
Pacific Northwest,
the PNW. Look at what we're doing up here. Is that we're not running the pro circuits like the guys back east, like Davenport, like Strickler, McCready, all those guys.
The corporate sponsorship isn't here.
But think about this too. If we're hobby racers, let's just face it.
That's a fact.
So if you get that $25,000 sponsorship, are you going to be able to take Wednesday off from work and go to a hospitality event for your sponsor? Are you going to be able to go do a meet and greet and fly from Portland to
Denver
to San Francisco to Seattle?
There's a downside of having 5 sponsors. You have 5 sponsors to appease.
But
I understand. I agree totally on it's easier to get.
They're not going to sit there and demand that, if we're going to hand you $25,000,
right.
We're not, we're going to demand that you be at this event to
it's
push
a
our
mutual
product.
thing. Yeah, it has to be a mutual deal.
Man,
Joel's on a roll, dude.
I haven't even had Red Bull yet, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
But she had a lot of great ideas.
She
and
did.
For me, it was just she simplified everything to a point where it's something any of us can do.
She dumbed it down.
She really did,
Yeah.
and that was what I was trying to say. Was people make this so complicated trying to get a sponsor, and they end up hurting themselves.
Be interesting to see how many listeners we had tonight to see how far.
Well, I want to know is I've got some friends that work at Weyerhaeuser in the office.
I mean, you know what? I was thinking of Weyerhaeuser myself.
We're going to see what happens.
Well, and think about it. I mean, I know Dave Miller and Larry Baker are sitting out there listening right now. What are they going to be doing tomorrow? Are they going to
They're
be
in the middle of Weyerhaeuser country.
No kidding.
Exactly.
Yep.
Are they going to be sitting there going, okay, this makes sense. Boom. And, I mean, let's face it, Scary Larry Cupcake Baker, he's got a lot of real estate there.
He does, and
Well, I think her point was that if you don't ask these guys, you're not going to get them, and these littler, not major corporate deals, would be easier to get. I don't know a whole lot about it, but they need tax write-offs, and
Sure.
advertising is a great write-off.
5 secondary sponsors against 1 primary.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Huge.
It's big.
But also how the psychology game that she taught us how to play of how to engage your potential sponsor, how to engage them and draw them in and personalize it and basically set you up for success just by using verbiage.
Well, and that's what it is.
I mean-
Is it's not mentioning racing. She said, "Do not mention racing." Because they're thinking other stuff: golf tournaments, college sports, high school sports. Get them
that's
in
just
front of
getting
you.
your foot in the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Get them in front of you, then make your proposal and do it professional, like she said.
Show when
Be
you go
prepared.
when you go up for that meet and greet. There's this feeling in the general public. One of my exes being one of them, that
What?
yeah, that all these guys that go out and turn laps on dirt think that beer and tobacco comes in a can and it's amazing, and they're a bunch of dumb hillbillies.
That's not our sport anymore.
It is not our
30
sport.
years ago, that probably was true.
So you show up to this basically it's an interview, a sales pitch in a nice set of pants, nice polished up shoes,
Image was a big thing she talked about.
a button up shirt, and for gentlemen a tie, for ladies an awesome Coach purse or whatever the hell you guys do. Warren, you would know. You do that sissy payment stuff.
Yeah, whatever.
But anyways, you show up looking professional.
You're so jealous.
And then bingo. No, I'm jealous of Patterson. But that's another
But
story.
what you're saying is correct. It goes back to the story I told a couple months ago about the guy walking into the store in his pajama bottoms and a wrinkled up shirt, just rolled off his couch and said, "Hey," spinning a 3-foot lanyard with his keys on. I said, "You hiring today?" I said, "Not today."
Oh, I remember that.
Remember
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that's
my gosh.
image is everything.
And look at how Dom and Corey, Warren, myself, when we go to the awards banquet and we're hosting the awards banquet, are we sitting there in a polo shirt and dirty Levi's with
Right.
holes in them and our tennis shoes and our shop clothes, even though we're racers? No, I mean Dom broke out a 3-piece suit. I had to tie Corey's tie 2 years in a row.
No, because it was already tied this year. I didn't untie it from last year.
It was a clip-on.
But
No, it wasn't. It was.
But you see what I mean? It's that professional image. You go in wanting to be presenting yourself as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a professional
You can
racer.
overdo it there too. You can overstep your bounds and over impress. Like she said, keep it simple. Basically, is what she was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get all dollied up. You just have to be respectable and be of your word.
Have a clean
Exactly.
appearance.
Yes, clean appearance.
Right.
That's all it takes.
So,
Be straight up. Be yourself. That's the best, I think.
but she said a lot
As long
in the
as it's
time
clean.
she was on the air,
Yeah,
and we could go over it all night long. And
Put our own interpretations on it.
yeah, absolutely.
Your computer's ringing.
Everything's going off here. I mean, the Swears Trekking chat line lit up. Phones are going off here
Really?
in the studio, and
Do we have some call-ins?
Not yet.
No.
we just had one we ignored. It was Sam Pettit.
I think we're out of minutes on our Go phones here,
Go phone.
or whatever the Cricket or whatever them pays you prepay sons of guns go.
There's so much going on here on the Swears Trekking chat line.
What's
I can't
going
even
on?
get into it. It's
What's
just
going on?
people talking. They're having there's discussion amongst themselves here in the
On our chat line.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, these guys are
Yeah, I
bouncing
know.
ideas off each other, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It's already starting some avenues of communication, and these are two racers talking to each other about it. That's great.
Well,
Yeah.
these are conversations I've had with the guys in the shop, our owner, and it just is sitting there cementing and now I'm going, okay, now I understand how I can be more effective when we do this. Now I can understand this. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, see, back in the day when I was drag racing, it's NHRA drag racing, we had a motorhome, just a regular motorhome. And when you go to the track, you'd have tons of prospective sponsors out there. Not necessarily automotive. Like, believe it or not, I was sponsored by a clothing company. I was sponsored by a cart, SPC Performance. I was sponsored by Prolong, the oil company. I was sponsored by a lot. And I met them at the track. It wasn't that they were looking for you, but they're out there. And then
Right.
we always wear our crew shirts, with our black pants. We had to.
Right.
And HRA required that, even to be at the starting line. So the people are out there, and it isn't necessarily being pushy. They sometimes will almost come to you. You have to look for it, though. Strike up a conversation. Be somewhat social. You don't know who that person is that's looking at your car. I was not by any means a top 10 racer in drag racing, but I had a lot of sponsors,
Right.
and I had a lot of money to go racing.
See, and that's